Welcome to part 11 of Chrono Trigger, folks. So now we're going to... What the... Death to the Mystic's enemies! Okay, so apparently we're gonna beat the hell out of these two henchmen. Or henches. So this cave, pretty much all the battles aside from this one, really try to force you into using your magic that you've just recently gotten. You have to have gotten the magic. You can't possibly skip it, I don't think. But yeah, that tries to force you into using your magic. I think it's to get you used to using the magical abilities. Anywho, though, there's also treasure lying about, such as that ether, which you may or may not need. And right here is a gin bottle. No, not that kind of gin bottle. I'm talking about, like, a genie bottle. A gin. They just forgot the D. It should be spelled D-G... or... It should be spelled D-J-I-N-N-I, I believe. Or maybe I'm throwing on an extra I don't know. Any way you look at it, though, it's a genie bottle. And 3 octoblushes. This is how long these battles take if you do not use magic. This is going to be a very tedious battle, but I figured I'd show you guys. For one, you're never going to do more damage to the gin bottle than it heals itself with its little drain attack. Since, you know, you're only doing probably the most, at most, probably 12 damage with a regular attack. You can beat the octoblushes, but it still takes a while. Like I said, this cave really tries to push you into using your magical abilities. It's kind of unfortunate, but, you know, I understand the point of it. It's to teach you, oh, you can use magic and it won't count as physical attacks, so if you can't hurt something in the future with a physical attack, try a magic attack. So if you want to have a slightly easier time in here, then I recommend bringing Meryl in place of Robo. I did not, because Robo deserves some screen time. He's awesome, isn't he? He's got lasers, and he can heal, and he has the most kick-ass song in the game. He's all around awesome. But yeah, I recommend bringing Meryl in place of Robo, because Meryl can heal as well, and plus Meryl can use magic attacks. Technically, so can Robo, which we're going to see his laser attack in this game, or in this video, but it's not nearly as good as Meryl's ice spell that she just learned in the End of Time. So Chrono's blind right now, apparently, which means he's not going to have very high chances of hitting. In most games, the blind status effect is pretty much worthless. Is it just me? Am I the only one who feels that way? Final Fantasy games, any other games that have the blind status effect, it feels worthless, and it feels like it's just, you know, there. I usually just ignore it and come out fine. Anywho, these beetle enemies that I'm not going to be showing the battle because we just watched a 2-minute long battle of me tediously hacking away at enemies. The beetles cannot be hurt by physical attacks, or at least they aren't hurt very much. You have to use magic. Again, this this cave is to try and get you used to using magical attacks. Same with these beetles. They're the same beetles, there's just more of them. Use magic attacks. Easy schmeezy. Huzzah! We leveled up. There's also treasure everywhere. This cave is a little bit dark, so I apologize. I also noticed that some of my previous videos of Chrono Trigger were ridiculously bright, which I never thought I'd have to say that. I never ever thought that I'd have a video that's too bright. But anyway, I fixed that, so hopefully it looks better now. I think you can attack the roly-polies. I'm pretty sure you can, but I'm still not going to show it because, again, we watched a really long battle at the beginning of this video. I will be showing this fight, though, against these bats. These bats can only, well, not only, but they only realistically get hurt by magical attacks. And something that I may have mentioned before, but the move Slash and the move Flame Toss are considered magic attacks. So, you know, instead of just using lightning and fire in a situation like this, try using Flame Wave or Slash so you can hit multiple enemies. Also, Robo's laser spin hits all enemies no matter what. And it's a pretty awesome attack. It looks pretty kick-ass. I like it. I just wish it did more damage. It's like literally the only shadow attack Robo learns, and so that means that, you know, Shadow's kind of unreliable. Not that you ever really need the shadow element. Anywho, though, in that chest is a magic scarf. I actually recommend equipping it to either Chrono, well, to Chrono if you're using the same team I am. Right now in place of the Rage Band, because it'll be more helpful here. I did not because I'm an idiot. Anyway, we're going to press on through this cave that has no music. I really hate it when there are areas, like big areas that have no music. If you folks are familiar with the game Xenosaga for the PlayStation 2, Xenosaga 1 at least, there is very little music in that game, and I love that game, but that drives me crazy. I don't understand why they would do that. Maybe I'll LP that game someday. I probably will. I love RPGs, and I'm more than likely going to do every single one that I've played. I'm just saying that I'm planning on this being a long-term hobby. I'm probably going to end up doing every single RPG I've ever played. Which is a shitload, people. Anywho, up here is another gin bottle. Once again, if you hit it with magic attacks, it'll die like that. Don't know if you heard me, but I snapped right there. It'll die like that. Yay, Chrono leveled. And a sealed chest. I really hope that someday soon we're going to be able to get into those. Anywho, in here we have to fight the current of the water because it's pushing. It's not like it's anything really important. It's just pushing. There's a save spot. I recommend healing because you more than likely have been using magic quite a bit, so use a shelter. And maybe save if you want to. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything, which I think it's safe to say I didn't. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and use a shelter and I think save. Actually, I think I don't save after this. Which I don't recommend. I don't know why I didn't. You should always save, people. Saving is your friend. Anywho, though, we head up in here. I said up into there. Death to the Mystic's enemies! Alright, and we get to meet our boss of the cave, Hekron. Hekron? I love this guy just because it looks like he's dancing to the boss music. I don't know why, I've always gotten a kick out of that. Alright, so some strategies for this. Much like all the enemies we've encountered, this boss can only really be effectively hurt by magic attacks. You can technically beat him with physical attacks, but you're going to be here for fucking ever. This fight already takes a very long time, but if you just use physical attacks, you're going to be here for fucking ever. So I recommend, if you're using the team I am, having Chrono use lightning, of course, and Luca using fire. And I recommend designating Robo to using Cure Beam. The reason this fight takes so long is because Hekron always goes into the counterattack mode, and obviously you don't want to attack him with anything when he's in counterattack mode. So you just basically sit and wait or heal while you're waiting. I try out Fire Punch and I'll find out that it doesn't do much more damage than just Luca's fire, so it's just wasting MP. Again, designate Robo to using Cure Beam, have Chrono and Luca using their magic attacks. If you want to speed this fight up a little bit more, just a little bit, I recommend bringing Meryl again, because she has a magic attack as well. She's going to be able to hurt Hekron a little bit better than what you can with Robo in the team, plus she can still heal, and she has a group healing spell, which will be useful. So I recommend Meryl over Robo for this area. I know, I'm an idiot. Anyway, though, Robo's laser beam, or laser spin, does actually hurt Hekron, just not nearly enough, and it takes too much MP. Again, designate Robo to healing. And this is what happens if you accidentally attack him when he's in counterattack mode. Because I'm on active mode for the game, that means that, you know, this is gonna happen from time to time. You know, if it was a wait mode, I guarantee you he'd never get a counterattack off. But it's not wait mode, it's active mode, so, you know, it happens. And it hurts like a bitch, by the way, so, yeah, you want to avoid it as much as you can. Fortunately, because he's always in counterattack mode, you're able to heal all the damn time. So really, we're going to be here for like another 2 minutes. Just watching me try and beat the living shit out of this boss, which isn't actually very hard. It can hit hard, it can rough you up a little bit, especially with the Cyclone move right here. Because it does anywhere between 90 and, I think, like 110 damage. So it can rough you up, but not enough. Its only group attack is the one that it uses with counterattack, the water wave. And so, yeah, it's never going to hit all your characters, which means you're always going to be able to heal whoever gets hurt. And that move's a joke at this point. This whole, I forget what he says, but where he whaps the hell out of one of the characters. It's a joke at this point. It doesn't do enough damage to be taken seriously. But yeah, anywho. I also love Cure Beam. I think Cure Beam's one of the cooler looking healing moves in this game. Again, this game's got so much imagination with everything that I love it. Yeah, though, if you have Meryl in your team, you can use Ice as well, since, as you can tell, I'm not having to heal constantly. So, you know, that'd give you a little more offense. Just a recommendation. Also, if you get behind, don't be afraid to use mid tonics, because they heal enough to pretty much boost you up to full health. Regular tonics are about to become outdated if you haven't become aware. Fortunately, mid tonics don't cost too much more, but anyway. Don't be afraid to heal. Don't attack when it's in its counterattack mode. Use magic, not physical attacks. If you have Robo in your team, designate him using Cure Beam. And yeah, seriously, that's like all I can say about this boss. He's not a very tough boss. Again, though, we're still towards the beginning of the game. I also really like the way Cyclone Water looks. I don't know why, there's something about it. It's such a simple animation, but I really like how it looks. Anywho, huzzah, we finally beat the fucker. If only the great Magus who brought forth Lavos 400 years ago had destroyed the human race, the world would have belonged to mystics. I'm so sorry. Anywho, in the Middle Ages, Magus created Lavos, the destroyer of this planet's future. We could use the gate at the fairgrounds. So now we know where we have to go. We have to go to the Middle Ages. Yes, I'm going to jump in, which will send us flying back to right outside Luca's house, actually. It's crazy, but it's true. Anywho, I'm Gene the Pink Panther. Stay tuned for part 12. See ya!